Hi everyone. Today I'm here again with Jose Suma, CEO of Brand Virality. And one of the big problems in the marketing services is the companies hear about a package name, but they don't know what actually gets done. So today I want to make this very practical, Jose. What does the Brand Virality Essentials package actually produce, and how the outputs increase visibility for our clients? So Jose, thanks for joining. Let's start.
Thanks for having me, James. Yes, I think this is the right conversation because a lot of the brands don't need more back marketing language, if you know what I mean. It's more about they need to understand what actually gets delivered and why those outputs really matter.
So perfect. Let's start with the simplest version of it. So Jose, when you explain essentials in plain English, what is it?
In plain English, basically Essentials is a visibility production system. And this is the minimum, the smallest package that we have, which, by the way, is by small, it doesn't mean that it's not good. It's actually producing a lot of amazing results. This package basically helps the brands to produce the core assets, the authority signals, distribution outputs, everything needed to basically become easier to find across, let's say, Google, ChatGPT, all the different AI discovery system or AI chats. And so instead of only talking about a strategy, we can point out, if you want, exactly what gets produced.
So good, thank you. But let's make this more concrete. Like, if a company asks what the brand virality actually produce this period, we know we have loops thing. So what they should see on the system.
Sure. So speaking really about the numbers of what we do, the smallest package that we have is actually huge, right? So the first content delivery that we do is blog articles. Blog articles means we have our own blog system implemented for our customer using all the best practices for SEO, topical authority and so on. There, on that specific point, we deliver 50 articles per month, which if you think about it, James, to do 50 articles by is take you a lot of time. Also, it's not only about doing 50 articles just with AI, right? Because everyone can do that. But how to do it properly, how to do it with the right strategy, that's the secret. That's the recipe that we actually have with great success and that we actually manage to deliver consistently. Now, we also, in our blueprint for this package, include around between 500 to 600 backlinks, depending of what our marketing team is recommending specifically for that brand. We also do two different press releases for that brand. We have our own network
Okay.
of premium PRs. We do 17 social proof, 11 UGC creative, and around 24 published posts. I will go deeper later into each of these so that you will understand a bit better. But this is the kind of information that we include in the package.
That's the kind of things that I want to know. Like, this is the format that people need, what they're getting, and how much. So now let's us explain why each of these those outputs that you say matters.
Absolutely.
Let's start with blog articles. Why do 50 blogs articles matter? Why?
It's a great question. It's a great question. And actually, people, they believe buy a blog. Why do you need a blog in the first place? And the thing is that even though SEO isn't that relevant anymore, it is still important. It still gives results in terms of AI visibility. So blog articles basically create searchable depth. They give basically the brand more pages, more topics coverage. It basically is telling Google and all the different agents that your brand is expert on the topics that are relevant to the market. Right. So this is so important, but we actually go here one step further, and this is what makes the difference with our strategy. And is that each block, apart from following what we consider that is important with a topical authority, internal linking, and a set of different practices, we also focus into making sure that the articles that we're creating are providing enough context for the AI, not specifically for the humans, so that it will
Mhm.
understand better the whole brand, right?
All right. So I get the point. Very interesting. Going more deep in the layer of content, let's talk about the authority. You say also about backlinks. So the next number is like big. I know it could be like 5,000 to 2,000 backlinks delivered. by the period of the loop. So why does that matter?
Of course, usually backlinks, they have a very bad reputation. People sometimes say, why do you need backlink? This is like something from the 2000s. But the reality is, it actually supports authority, relevance, and trust. It is important. You just have to know which kind of backlinks to use in these cases. But the search engines and discovery systems do not only look for what a brand is saying about itself, but it also looks about how this brand is connecting with more, let's say, pages, how it's basically having this broader connection with different websites around. So basically, in a summary, let's say is that the backlinks is actually it's try to make to improve, to make stronger the authority layer behind the visibility. So they help to support rankings, credibility, and overall digital footprint.
Good. So we talk about backlinks, SEO, authority. Now let's talk about trust. So in that sense, we also see four press releases. You talk about four different press releases delivered on this loop. So what's the role about the press releases and regarding to trust?
Of course, this is super important also because this is actually now on the AI game providing a lot of value because you have basically third-party companies speaking about your own brand. So basically, the press releases help to build legitimacy in and a brand presence across external media surfaces, right? So basically, they create, so to speak, a layer of discoverability beyond the company website. They can also help to reinforce that the brand is active, that it has, let's say, connection with different brands, and this actually is worth paying attention to it. So, in other words, basically, PR is actually helping to turn the brand into something that the internet can reference more credibility to it.
Interesting, actually. Press releases is one of my favorite things. I believe it has a lot of trust because it's a third party talking about you. So it's just like the social proof. And talking about social proof, you say also about having social proof assets delivered. So why is this important? What is a social proof itself? What it is and why it's important?
Sure, and this is because visibility without trust is weak, right? So again, we have the trust from the PR, which is more like a company speaking about your company, but we also need the social trust, which means in similarity, just that people, proof of people actually speaking about your brand. So basically, social proof helps people and platforms in terms of trust what they're actually seeing. This can be, for example, reviews, testimonial style assets,
Yeah.
credibility elements, supporting proof that makes basically your brand easier to believe. And the stronger the proof layer, the stronger the conversion layer behind visibility.
Interesting, good. Like social proof. Regarding to social proof, I would like to add that we have a huge farm of social profiles and networks. They are real humans. It's more than 100 different we call identities, and each identity has different social network. Like let's say there is an identity which is real, it's a human, and this human has different Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. And we use them to build our social proof architecture because when we
Um,
ask, go ahead.
no, I will add just there. Farm sounds a little bit darky, but I will say that it's more like we have like our own network of accounts of users, which actually help us to provide a little bit of, not a little bit, but quite a lot of this kind of social
Mhm.
proof for our customers.
The first time that we perform loop campaign to our clients, they are always amazed about when they wake up, they go to TikTok or anywhere and they can see 20 different profiles talking about your brand and they are like, oh, wow, this looks real. Because it looks real and
Exactly.
because it is real. It's real people. Bots doesn't work. We
Exactly.
don't use bots. So
Exactly.
let's jump to the next category, which is kind of related. You talk about user generated content. So this element, user
Right.
generated content, creative, delivered on this period of the time of the loop. Why does matter in the package? Why?
Right. So this go hand by hand with where we were speaking about the social proof, because basically a user-generated content is also providing a sort of social proof in this case. Basically, this what helped is it helped to make the brand feel like more human, right? Like you have someone speaking about your brand, more current, more native to the platforms where people is actually discovering content. And They're especially useful because they support the trust, the attention, and the platform relevance as well. So they do not just add content volume, but they actually add a different type of signal.
That's amazing. And also, I saw about the report shows 24 published posts delivered on this period of time. So, what does that for the visibility?
Yeah, sure. So basically, the policy posts are a distribution layer, right? So they help the brand stay active, visible, and repeated across the channels where discovery happens. And a lot of the brands create content, but they fail to actually distribute it consistently. This goes again hand by hand with what you mentioned earlier about all the different networks that we have, people sharing content and so on. Basically, these keep the brand present in front of both audiences and algorithms as well.
If you step back, what is the essential package actually producing through all of these categories that we talk?
Right, right. So basically, it is producing a visibility system, right? This is what we do here in Brand Virality, right? We make it visible all the way from ChatGPT to Gemini. So the blogs, articles create the content depth. The backlinks build the authority. The press releases support external legitimacy. And the social proof basically strengthens trust. So keeping that in mind, you also have the UGC creative and basically setting the human relevance. You also have the published post as well, which is basically driving the ongoing distribution. And if you combine all of these together, James, this is basically creating the signal system that it's going to make your brand easier to find by all the different LLM chats and also helping you with the SEO as well.
That makes sense. The commercial logic behind this product is very clear. So then, who is this really for? Like, who is the best match for this product?
I will say everyone who wants to be visible on AI, but being more specific, a strong fit for us is going to be a company that already has something valuable to sell. So this is something where we can help if they need, more content depth, more authority, more trust, more distribution. This is where I will say they could be a very good fit between both parties, right? So in that situation, I think the package, the essential that we were speaking right now about this will provide the company a real visibility foundation to get started in the AI visibility world.
And usually, the company expect what should the company expect in the first two, three
Mhm.
months?
Yeah, great question because this is always a very frequent asked question, I would say. Well, they should expect more structure for sure, more output, stronger visibility foundations. That means basically more content live, stronger authority signals, more brand presence across the internet, and also very importantly, more consistency in how the brand is actually shown in all the different LLM chats. Right. So something important in here is that this is a systematic production that compounds, right? So we have one big blueprint and we have different kind of recipes running together, loops as we like to call it inside in our company that basically are compounding and making a bigger effect over time in terms of visibility for your brand.
That's perfect. So let me close this with a simple version. The simple version of this is essential. The package is just not just a package name. It's a concrete production system that delivers content, authority, trust, and distribution assets that make the brand easier to find. Is that fair?
Exactly, exactly. You got it right. So the short version is, let's say we help your customer find you anywhere, all the way from Google to ChatGPT. And we do that, James, by producing the visibility infrastructure behind the brand in a measurable way. Because remember, we always give a report at the end of each month to our customers to see all our KPIs. How are we doing? How visible is your brand getting right now? And all of this, you as a customer, you don't have to move a finger. We do all the work for you.
That's perfect, Jose. That's it. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me here. Have a great time.